Today we're going to be talking about representing data in tables. Have you ever wondered how people make tables and charts easy to read? In math and science we see tables all the time, but I'm like, how in the world did you make that? How do people do it? Do they just draw it out, use a computer? What do they do? Well, you can draw it out and use a computer. So creating a table or a data table, there's 3 easy steps to follow. You decide how many rows and columns you will need, draw how many rows and columns you will need to use, and then put all of the information into the table. Step 1, decide how many rows and columns you will need. Since we are looking at the weather information from 2015, and it's the fall seasons, or the fall months, so September, October, and November, which is 3 months. And we're going to be focusing on the temperature and the rainfall for our unit. Since we have 3 months, that means we have 3 temperatures and also 3 rainfalls. But whenever you are making a data table, you need to have a heading for each row or column so you know what you are focusing on. If we were going to draw this out, you would make a big square or rectangle like so. Now mine's not perfect because this is a little challenging to do on here. I'm going to put our headings up here at the top. And I said we need to know the months, the temperature, and the rainfall, which is month, the first column, temperature, the second column, and rainfall in the third. Which next we're going to make sure we have enough rows for each month. The first month is September, so here's 1 row. The second is October, here's another row, and on the bottom is November. Now if we're going to draw that out, this is basically what our data table would look like, but with no information in it yet. Now, if we're going to use the computer to make a table, we would click the table section up here at the top, and this is if you're using Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. You could use either one. And over here in the corner it says New. You're going to click the New button, or the down arrow, and I said we have 3 columns, for one for month, one for temperature, and one for rainfall. So this is our first row and column. Now we need 1 for each month, so September, October, November. Once we've figured out how many rows and columns we need, we're going to click on the square. And now our data table shows up. To make it bigger, you're just going to use the arrow down here at the bottom to make it bigger so you can read it. Now step 3 is to put the weather data into the tables. Up here at the top, I'm going to put in the headings. I already have it displayed here for you, so you can basically look at the table. So up here at the top is the month, temperature, and the rainfall. These are our headings for the data table. And then the information that I used was from this website, which is what you will be using whenever we get to the activity. So this is the Florida Climate Center, and you click on the month or the year that you want, and I'm using 2015 right now. I'm going to go down to September since I'm focusing on September, and we will get the information from there. The average temperature is 79.1 for Pensacola, and the average rainfall is 6.36. When we go back down here to our data table, under the month column, you're going to put all 3 of the months that you are using. And since it's fall, we're using September, October, and November. You will just click on the box that you're wanting to type in or write in, and you will just type your answers or responses in there. Then we can go over to temperature and fill out all of the degrees by typing it in, or if you're creating your own, you will just write it in. And then you go over here to rainfall and put in all your information, but make sure you're putting the correct amount temperature and rainfall in for each month. And the way it's going is side to side instead of up and down. Let's say we're looking at 2016. So there's more than one way you can make a data table. There's not just one correct way to do it. You can move the headings to a different side instead of having them up at the top. Here's the information for 2016. Again, we're using the fall months, September, October, and November, and we're still using temperature and rainfall. We're still using the same data and information. I'm just going to show you a different way to make the table. Again, we're going to use a big square or rectangle if you're drawing this out on your own, and mine still does not look perfect, but that's okay. Instead of going across like this, we're going to go up and down with our heading. So we have 3 headings: the month, temperature, and rainfall. Month, temperature, rainfall goes there. Then we have 3 months. We're going to make a column for each: September, October, and November here at the end. That's what it would look like if you're going to draw it out. Now, if you're using the computer, you will go over to the Tables tab up here at the top and click Tables. And then over here in the corner, you'll click the down arrow where it says New. And I'm having 3 rows with 4 columns because I have 3 headings and then 3 months. But the headings box does not count as one of our 3 months. So we will need 4 columns and 3 rows. It gets a little confusing whenever you're doing it on the computer or drawing it out, just because you basically need 1 extra row or column for your heading section. This is basically what the table will look like if you're going up and down with your headings instead of across the top. And you will just input your information. So the month is right here, and I'm going to put September, October, and November. And you will just fill out the information from the website: the temperature for September, October, and November, and then the rainfall for each. And you just click on the box and type in the temperature and rainfall for each. Now, if you're using Microsoft Word, it will look basically the same as what I'm doing on PowerPoint. You just type in each heading, and then all of the other weather information into the chart. Now, if you're going to do it the other way, having the information top to bottom instead of across, again, you will go to Tables, New, and then pick how many rows and columns you will need. But you're going to have to make it bigger because it always ends up small like this and it's hard to read, so you would just click this little box down here and drag it down. Oops, I made it a little too big. And then you just put the month, temperature, and rainfall. And then you will just fill out your chart. And if you would like to use a different online tool, there's a website that I'll have pulled up for you called Visme, and you can click either Microsoft Word or Visme to make your data table. So you're going to click Add Slide, and you want to click Blank Slide. Then over here on the left, you will click Data, and then Tables. And it's just like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. You will pick how many rows and columns you want. It's going to pop up over here, and you can start putting your information in just like we did in Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. You will do this whenever you break off into your groups. You can either draw this out or use Microsoft Word or the Visme website. But all of your information to find out about all of the climate or the monthly climate summaries for Florida, you'll have to pick the years and then scroll down and then click on the months, and all of your information will be in there. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand and stay seated. And if you do not, let's go ahead and start with our group 1.